allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, as soon as John makes it around to his seat, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order.
That'll work. Yep.
So we'll go ahead and start with our roll call. Misty Cottle.
Here.
Anita Lowry.
Here.
Jeff Hudson. Here. Jan Frogmore.
Here.
John Collins.
Here.
Kara Hungate.
Here.
Don Collins is absent. Joe Tower is absent. City Attorney is here. She's setting up for the flag. First item on our agenda is the approval of our agenda as it was mailed. Anyone see anything that needs to be changed in the agenda? Do we have a motion to it?
I'll second it.
Motion and second. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Up next is the approval of our meeting minutes from July 10th. I'm going to double check that we have the right date on there this time.
So did I.
So, the approval of our minutes from last meeting, everyone read over those, see any changes that need to be made. Do we have a motion? Second. Motion second, all those in favor say yes. Yes. Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Next is our public forum in which we we welcome the public to come in, praise your city officials for all we do. No, if you would like to come and address the council for anything, please let us know and we'll call you forward. We do ask that you keep your remarks to 2 minutes and we will not take action on anything from the public comment section. Yes, ma'am. Step forward and tell us your name.
I'm Paula Cottle, Christy Lynn.
Okay.
Actually, I don't have anything. I want to give you something. This came out in the Sunday paper, and it's on libraries. I'll let you pass that around. I can't get it on.
I'll just spin.
But, you know, our library for years has been something that's been in the very back burner. And we're trying to get it a little more into the front burner with hopefully when the budget comes around, maybe we get a little more money. But this was local with Berryville, I believe it is. And I thought you needed some homework, so. But that's all. I just wanted y'all to read that. And remember our library when budget time comes. And you are doing a good job, by the way.
Thank you.
Would anyone else like to address the council?
Your Honor, I would.
Yes, ma'am.
It just takes me a minute.
That's all right. Take your time.
I've had a few birthdays and quite a few kaboom since I was here last, but I always have to say something. I think I do. I'm Caroline. Thank you, John. Caroline Smith Hamilton. And I have missed coming to the meetings, but I have a new husband. He's younger than I am, and when we married 5 years ago, I thought, oh boy, when I get older, he'll take care of me. Well, it doesn't pay for me to think. I love him dearly, but since we've been married 5 years last December, it's been one major catastrophe with his help after another. And we were nearly killed 11:15, leaving the VA hospital at 5 o'clock after he'd had a 2-day prep for a colonoscopy. And we still have not got that car wreck settled. You know, I guess everything takes time and lots of patience. But I've been keeping up with all of y'all, and as best as I can find out, you are doing a really good job. Yes, I keep up with things.
Thank you for that.
Sometimes I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I can't sleep anymore, so I go in and do some serious thinking and reading the Bible and praying. So you all are prayed for every day, whether you want it or whether you need it or not.
We'll take it.
You know?
Thank you.
Because I believe now this world is so mixed up, we all need all the help. I saw Christy at City Hall this afternoon, went to Greenland, went in, did some shopping, come back, I made a mistake, go back in, and I locked my keys in the car. And my cell phone in the car. But do you know who rescued me? The Greenland Police Department. I was brought up, and I believe it, and I've always lived that way. Policemen are your friends. And every time I've needed the West Fork Police and now the Greenland Police, they've been there. So you know what? I have a special name for them. Do Right Boys. They put on these badges, they take all this training, and we're so proud of Chief Nelson. He's been to extra schooling, you know, and everything else, and they put on these bulletproof vests, and Officer Kathy and all of them, they go out to see that people do right.
Mhm.
And when they do, you run a red light, you speed, you're doing wrong. So they're only doing their job
That's right. That's right.
to give you a ticket or remind you they're the do-right boys. So I just wanted to say thank you to all of y'all.
Well, thank you,
And
Ms.
keep
Carol.
on keeping on,
All right.
okay?
Thank you.
Was that over 2 minutes?
I think you were right on time.
Yeah.
Would anyone else like to address the council?
Oh, you need to stand next time.
At least it didn't sing to you.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and close our open forum.
You sure? Nice.
It has. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, quickly before the momentum changes.
Look, I might be up there.
It is nice when people will step forward and not only commend the council, but especially when they commend the city employees. They don't get enough praise for what they do, and neither does the council. So thank both of you for that. All right, up next, our business reports. Walter, would you give our planning commission report?
Evening. Last month wasn't real busy. We just sat around and talked about our upcoming zoning change and our procedure for that, make sure we knew what was going on. This month will be a little bit busier. We've got 2 lot splits and the zoning change application come before us. We were looking over the procedure, and it looks like we'll be able to schedule a special hearing before your guys' next city council meeting, probably, and we can give our recommendation right then. So we'll be able to do that. Other than that, it's going on as usual.
And the rezoning application he's speaking of is for the co-op.
For the co-op, yes, sorry. And we still have 2 open seats, and please recommend people, sure. And
Any questions?
anybody's welcome to come to the meeting.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you much.
Jennifer, give our Economic Beautification Committee update.
Okay, so we have made some progress on the memorial project, and we've decided that phase 1 really needs to be the restoration of the historic fire truck. And with that, involves clear coating and then a pavilion with some sort of decorative fencing around it to protect it. And we've decided that that's probably going to cost us $2,500 to $4,000. And so we would like to have our budget restored back to $3,000 from what it was for last year, and we just had $1,500. Another option would be for you to, go ahead and give us $4,000 to go ahead and start that project. And then if neither of those are good options, we'd like our funding restored in the 2019 budget to do that. And so we decided with the fire truck, since it's just sitting collecting dust and it's in the way of the city workers anyway, that was a good place to start, and maybe that would create some momentum and show that we are making progress on that. And of course, one of the nice things about our history is that we do have that truck and Chief McCorkle. So the second phase we thought would be the flagpole with the flags, which would cost over $1,000 for that. And then we've come up with some really good ideas for the memorials, for the brick fundraising, and the landscaping that goes around that in the same location down across from near the city yard. So there is our request. We're still moving forward with Tree City projects. We'll still have the Small Town Big Lights project competition in December. And we may or may not have a candidate forum based on how the candidates roll out, I think, on Friday, and then what the Friends of the West Fork Library want to do with that if we don't have any local opposition. So, any questions?
Any questions for Jennifer? She just asked for a bunch of money.
Just a restoration of our existing budget that we had at the very least. So.
We did approval to do this thing, so we do need to fund it.
Yes, that's right. I agree. It's a good place to start. It is.
Something for people to get behind. Get started.
Do we have money somewhere for that?
We do not.
Just asking.
No, we do not have any money budgeted outside of what their current budget is.
Well, I should add that we've also decided that we, since the memorial project is sort of in the Economic Development and Beautification Committee, that we'd like that to have its own line item in the budget to just always keep those funds separate than anything else, so the project could always continue regardless on that. So.
Have you seeked out anybody that would be willing to work for free?
We haven't hit the donations yet. We decided that if the council wasn't willing to go forth with it, then we'd have to redo our strategy. But we have been meeting, and I feel like we've got some good momentum behind the project. And the design really hasn't changed. It's just more about how we wanted to approach it. And so with the fire truck, we figured that was a nice thing. And they do have that in Lowell. I think in Lowell they have a fire truck that's behind, and so we want something that looks, kind of maybe like something that would belong on the train tracks, but just very, very simple. And then with it being right there by the city yard, it could have lights on it to also protect it from vandals. And, not, some people put up a full fence, but we're thinking maybe just something wrought iron might be a little bit better, because you still want to see it. You don't want it to look like it's in jail, but the likelihood of that truck ever being moved again is, unlikely, is what they say. So. Anyway.
I haven't seen the one in Lowell, Jennifer, but I was telling Chad that I was in Alma a couple weeks ago, and they have one. It looks really nice. It's in kind of the same thing. It has wrought iron fence around it and a roof over it. It was neat.
Well, it's, we have that unique thing in West Fork, so I think that, and of course the whole project, people are usually pretty excited. We just had a little trouble getting momentum to get started, so we thought we'd start there.
And I think that's an excellent idea to do it in pieces, try to get some
Right,
momentum.
and we hope that we can get some donations, but at the end of the day, it could cost, in just our lease estimates, maybe $4,000 to get it clear coated and get the concrete there with the. We're thinking a metal roof will probably stand the test of time a little bit more and match some of the other park pavilions.
So are you thinking $4,000 to refurbish the truck as well as build the pavilion?
Right. Yeah, that's just for to clear coat the truck and for the concrete, the lumber, the iron fence, the metal roof, and incidentals with the electrical.
Do we have any quotes on what's clear coating that truck? If you guys looked into that at all?
Was it $500? I think is what someone quoted.
Chad, please join us.
Chief Myers has spoke with Magnus, and he feels like that, you know, he hasn't given him the price, but he said he would be very reasonable. And Mark seems to think it'll be somewhere around $500, possibly up to $1,000, but he's thinking somewhere in that $500 range for the truck, just to clear coat it, to get it ready and then to clear coat it.
Okay, and that was kind of my next question.
So we're not going to do a lot to it other than just if it needs.
Knock the big rust off.
Yeah, just
Spray over.
stop the rust on it so it can be
But
preserved.
but that's not a quote. It's just was Mark's feelings and talking to him, and he wouldn't really give him a quote. He just said he would do it and do it right.
And do we have any quotes on, I know you and I talked about concrete possibly getting some
On
of that
that,
donated.
we don't have any quotes. We just went off some building material cost. We're looking at, for all that stuff, including the roofing, we have some ideas about who to contact for donations for that stuff. It's concrete, the roofing, and possibly even the lumber. I mean, we're going to reach out and try to do it for less than that. But what we felt like was to ask for what we thought it would take if it took, you know, if we needed to purchase everything. The fire truck we have, and it needs a home. It's a unique, historic part of the city. It needs a home. So if nothing ever went further with the memorial, if we couldn't get more money, or at least that truck, if we're able to do this, would have a home, and it would have a nice home. Something good to go look at, and so that's why we felt like to start there. So if we can save some money, that money could be spent on the other phases, or there's going to be maintenance and upkeep down the road if this is built.
My thoughts would be that we move forward, get some hard quotes. We do have $1,500 in your economic
Well,
budget.
but that's designated for Tree City. I mean, the Tree City
Most of
has
that's
been,
obligated.
It is.
Yes.
well, we've got the Christmas tree replacement that could be $350, and then the tree giveaway that our Tree City representative's not, real keen on getting rid of that, although we do know that just in what we do in the city that we can keep that Tree City certification. And so just with Chad and the Master Gardeners, we do keep that, and we will meet next Tuesday and whatever you decide, and we'll have a hard discussion again about Tree City. And although it's may not be everybody's favorite project, I'd hate for Westport to say, oh well, we really don't understand it, we don't like it, we don't want it. And I think it's better if we continue on, because we do benefit greatly from the beauty of our city being from trees. And
maybe I didn't understand this, but you said $350 of your budget was
Right.
allocated for the Christmas
for
tree.
the replacement of the tree that's going to have to come down, and
then how
then
much is it to Tree City?
it's another $700 to $900. In the past, where we've done the tree giveaway, we've been able to partner with Fayetteville. This year, they're having some sort of Centennial Tree City thing, and they won't allow any kind of combo with that. So I've asked for those numbers for sure, and to see if there's any way that we could do less. But we'll have further discussion next week.
But it would be good to get that fire truck done while we still have Mitch.
Oh, I agree. My thoughts on it are we're in August right now. We're going to begin budget preparations, I would assume, September at the latest. So I think that gives us an opportunity to really put some thought into this and see how much the city wants to put into this. I think the memorial should raise some money. I think it should be a cooperative effort. I don't think the city should fund it completely.
I agree.
But how much? I think that's a discussion we need to have during budget processes.
I also think once you get something up, people will have more interest in
That's right.
funding it.
I agree. I agree.
It's hard to get excited about an idea that's just an idea that's going nowhere without
That's right.
something that's tangible to look at.
That's right.
I agree with that.
And it's gotta look nice, because if it doesn't, nobody's gonna get behind it.
That's right. So let's get some hard and fast quotes. and then if somebody has another idea, I would be open to that. My idea is that we appropriate this out of the 19 budget. I know that we've got an idea and we're ready to go hard, and I get it, I am too, but I also don't necessarily want to start taking out of other budgets to create money for this. But
And we would want it to be its own line item and not be commingled with any other projects so
I
that
think
it
that's a good
can,
idea.
restore it,
Yeah.
keep it there, and any money that, we do raise to kind of go back into that fund, and hopefully Christie would watch that for us. So we'd be in good hands if she would. So, yeah. So there is our update.
Okay, thank you very much, thank you.
Anthony, I'm not sure who's planning the paddock or the place where the fire truck would be stored. Is it accessible? Can people climb on it?
No.
That's why we're gonna do the fencing.
I just want to say, it's okay if they do. I just want to make sure you guys, that the truck can be made so that all the little pieces that can be pulled off, taken off, and because we're toward immune. So if people are worried about some little kid climbing on the truck, get hurt.
It's probably more worried about them tearing it up, doing vandalism.
Again, that's a vandalism part I'm not commenting on. I just want to say that if the gate can even be open during the day,
Because I think we're gonna want people to be able to go up to it and take photos, stand by it and stuff. It's gonna be our photo, history that people's gonna get up and close, like a museum or something.
Has anyone seen the one at Lowell?
I haven't seen the one at Lowe's, the one at Alma's. the one at-
I see it all the time.
That's kind of what we have in mind.
It's more like an outdoor museum truck.
Yeah.
No one can touch it.
Right. I mean, if it could be touched without harm, but I'm not sure.
If that would help with donations, if people can get on it, I don't know if that helps.
This is the one.
Can I ask Jennifer a question?
Absolutely.
Are you talking about this tree over here that looks so good, the cedar tree? Is that the one you're gonna take down?
I've been told it's coming down.
Okay. You all are aware that that is a memorial tree to Pam Denzer?
And we'd like to somehow
So
keep that
whatever you
memorial.
do, it needs to stay in that, it needs to be a memorial for her. Whether it's whatever you want to. Because the first tree that we put up, some knothead come along and with his car and broke it in half. So we put
That looks
another
like
one,
it's in jail.
and we put another one
I
up,
agree.
and
Yeah.
we screwed that one up too. So this is our third tree, and it's just gone hot. But,
I agree with that. I'd like to have some ideas on how we can kind of commemorate that, because that has been brought to our focus,
Well,
that it was a memorial tree.
You're saying short,
yeah, I was just saying.
short, right out of that thing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, a short one.
They're gonna climb over it anyway.
Okay. Is there any more discussion on that? Okay. So next we'll move to our library report. John?
So we wrapped up our summer reading program for kids on July 25th with the Tommy Terrific Magic Show, and had a real good turnout for that. About 50 people showed up, and this is the first time I actually got to catch his show, and it was very entertaining. So if we ever have him back, I'd encourage you, whatever age, to check it out. It was he did a nice job of getting everyone involved, and anyway. And we were also able to we were able to give away a Kindle Fire as the prize to the top reader for the summer program, and that person was very excited. And I talked to his mom recently. She said he hasn't put it down basically since we gave it to him. So. And we wanted to give it a shout, public, thank you to Mountainburg Library and Margot Burleson, who kind of stepped up and ran our summer program and did a wonderful job. Really, she was great. We'd love to steal her from Mountain Grove, but we can't really do that. That wouldn't be right. So, and then speaking of children's librarians, we are interviewing on Thursday for a part-time position as a children's services librarian. So we had 4 or 5 good, strong applications at least, and so I think we'll be able to get somebody good for that job. And it's kind of exciting because I don't think we've ever had a dedicated children's librarian for West Fork, so it feels like kind of a milestone, and so hopefully something to build upon. We've always, up to now, basically shared a children's librarian with the other small libraries in the system. So we're going to get somebody who's going to be building our program from the ground up, I guess. So I'll report back on next month on how that search and how those interviews went. Any questions on anything?
Any questions from John? John, while you're there, Christy, did we get a meeting set with Brett?
Yes.
Tuesday. I think that's right. Yes. Tuesday at 8:30. So we're meeting about the courts and library to see if those plans are together. Can we move forward with them? I think that's where we're at, right? That we're ready to move forward and start getting bids and okay.
At this point, it's just meeting with Baldwin and Shell to make sure that they get all the plans. They'll start looking at
That
budget
they
numbers.
understand,
Yeah,
right.
they'll start looking at budget numbers and trying to get us dates.
Okay.
So
Like
there'll be-
the schedule of what to expect.
There'll be somebody from Baldwin at this meeting also, or? Okay, good.
Okay.
All right. Well, that means the wheels are turning there.
Yes, they are starting to turn, so I think you can start letting people know that I think the progress will be coming very shortly.
Mm-hmm. Great. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks, John. Just an update, I wasn't texting during the meeting, well, actually I was, but I was texting with Don. He just texted me to let me know that he is sick and did not want to bring it up here to us, so.
Thank goodness.
Next, Paulette.
Well, our numbers were up last month, entry-wise. Cash disbursements were down just a little bit, but I expect that to bounce back this month. I think we have the last of our parking tickets done, maybe. If the weather holds like it has, we'll have more parking tickets from the park. We just love those. Our numbers right now are up from where we were last year at this time, so we're looking really good there. Friday, we will be closed. We're going to be attending a training in Little Rock. All-day training. We'll be leaving early Thursday afternoon, about 3 o'clock. So we'll be closed Thursday from 3 until Monday morning when we come back. Hopefully we'll come back with some new updates on laws and that sort of fun thing that happens and get all that stuff squared away when we come back in. Anybody have any questions for me?
Any questions, Paulette? So I hope you guys looked at these numbers because I was amazed. All the departments look really good this month.
Yeah, it's been going pretty good.
Isaac had a department that was that way. I had to pick on somebody such as Chad this month.
And I brought Mary with me tonight. Mary's my new
Yes.
part-time clerk. She wanted to come in tonight and just see how things are going. That's why I'm taking both of them with me Friday, because Mary or Vicki, either one, could be taking my place next year, so they need to get down there and do some meet and greet and meet some of the other ladies and find them a mentor or two.
So, Paulette, on this, you said the disbursements are down this month, but
Yeah, by
over
$2,000.
Over this month last year, they're up almost 20,000.
Yeah.
And then year to date, we're up, 60,000,
Yeah.
60 plus thousand.
A lot of that has to do with getting the data entry done. I mean, I've got extra hands on deck, so we're able to keep up with all the data entry that comes in. We get the tickets in, we can get the money in, we can get the dispositions on, and if they're paid and the dispositions are in, that money goes out that month. So sometimes we're having to carry some of these things over because it's taken us, a couple weeks to get all our dispositions done. But Mary and I were able to get everything in while the window's being watched, day-to-day stuff is being done. The background stuff can be handled at the same time. When you only have 2 people in there, it's hard to do some of that sometimes.
Your signatures are just like catch up.
Right, no, numbers are just up, total numbers are up. And if you look at West Fork PD, they've got citations have over doubled. Last year, this time of year, they were 578 citations. This year, they're 1,120.
120.
And I know a lot of that is.
About 1,000 of those are parking tickets.
Yeah, but I don't think we've had near the trouble out of the park this year.
We haven't.
I've heard our prosecutor has a little bit of issue with parking tickets, but it's an ordinance we have.
We really don't. Pardon me?
Do they actually put are they collected?
Oh, yeah.
Parking tickets?
Yeah. The only ones we can't collect are, if the guys are out there writing a ticket, and they write a ticket against a car that's just sitting there, and they have to write it to the registered owner. Well, we don't have that owner's driver's license number or their date of birth. So if they don't come in and pay that ticket, we really can't get that one collected. But we sit on those for a little bit, and you'd be surprised how many people will come in and take care of them. Usually I'll send them a letter and say, hey, you didn't pay that. I had one guy thought we were a scam. Only one. I send them a letter and say, this hasn't been taken care of. A warrant will be issued if you don't handle it by this date. It's this much now. After this date, it will be this much. And most people will come in and pay it. But like I said, I had one guy that thought it was a scam. And he just really didn't think we existed. I said, I guarantee we're here. Just come any Thursday and you'll see that we're here.
It looks like the state police citations are starting to go back up as well.
They are. The highway work is all done. So they're not out there, babysitting the workers anymore. So they're up here patrolling. And last month we had the highway police come in and ran a saturation. They sat on the bridge going into the old rock quarry and ran the LiDAR. And I think, how many tickets did we have on that yesterday, do you know? We had at least 30 tickets from them just for last Tuesday's court. And I think I put one back in the file that didn't pay. So everybody else either paid or pled not guilty, and they've moved on. So there was one out of that 30 that didn't pay. And you're looking at, usually most of those about $180 plus.
What are the parking ticket complaints? Why does the prosecutor not like them?
I've just heard that it was said that he didn't like prosecute parking tickets. I haven't been.
I'm not really sure. I hadn't talked to him too much about that. He hasn't said anything to me about it, but most of the people were complaining because they parked on the grass and they got a ticket for parking on the grass. They want to come in and complain. I said, well, if you stop and think, if you go to the state park or any park in Fayetteville, can you park on the grass? And they're like, well, no. Well, this is our city park. You can't park on our grass. So you can come in and talk to the judge, tell him your complaint, and he'll still charge you for it, but you're welcome to have your day in court. And normally if they come and talk to the judge, he doesn't charge them the amount that's set in our computer. We have to have amounts set just for my computer to move on with its day. So, the judge has given me an amount. If the person wants to pay that amount and not appear in court, they're done. And parking tickets don't go on anybody's record, so it's not anything that's going to come back and haunt them later. But generally, if they make the effort to come in and talk to him and just make their court appearance, and he will reduce it some, so they won't pay the full amount on a good day. If he's having a bad day, it could go the other way. So, depends on what that first guy says that walks up there.
Any other questions for Paulina?
Still, the parkers are still running.
If you have a Thursday afternoon where you come in about 2:30, it's
Yeah,
good.
that's right. At the same time,
Thank you.
all the citizens are paying for the people who are. That's exactly right. So that they get a tremendous benefit for very little cost.
Okay. Thank you.
Chief Nelson.
All right. We're down a little bit. We had 400 calls for service, 31 reports taken, 144 citations issued, 11 criminal, 2 DWIs, and 1 city ordinance, which was a dog, 68 warrant arrests, 6 felonies, and 3 misdemeanors. I'll let you guys look through the stuff. The rest of the stuff, I'm not on the agenda for the policy revisions. I think everybody got one of these, correct, the policy sheets. What I'm wanting to amend is the West Fork Fire Department, Central EMS, first responders, our agency assist. number A says, all West Fork officers, it did say all West Fork officers will be first responders for the West Fork Fire Department. I want to switch that to say are encouraged to be. I don't want police officers to feel like they have to be first responders, but I want to allow them to if they want it. The next one on Section K, it says off-duty officers may use their department vehicle to respond to fire and medical calls. I would like that to switch that to off-duty officers will not use their police vehicles for response to medical and fire calls. Reason being is that's a volunteer. You're a volunteer fireman. All the other firemen have to use their own vehicles. It gets expensive if I got vehicles running to Devil's Den and Winslow and all over the place on fire and medical costs. If they want to be a part of that, I commend them for it, but I think they need to do like everybody else and use their own vehicles. So that's the two that I'm wanting to change.
Was there anything under Section 5? I don't know if there were any changes there or not, John. That was copied on this page, and so.
We do want on the outside assisting agencies. On the assisting agencies, we were looking at putting in officers that witness misdemeanors while outside the jurisdiction should contact, I want that put in our policy, should contact the assisting agency prior to taking enforcement action. If the officer must take immediate action to preserve the safety of the public, they will contact the local jurisdiction as soon as possible. We were looking to add that.
We are already across form.
But I think that's kind of, we had a little situation come up, and we have a lot of differentiating opinions on that. If that's something we need to put in there, we will. If it's not,
no, I mean,
I think we're covered on that anyway.
I think you're covered. I think legally you're not encouraged to write misdemeanors outside your jurisdiction.
Right.
It's discouraged legally, and sometimes people make a big deal of it. We don't make a habit of it, so it's not a problem. But
right.
I think your policy tracks what the state law is. In other words, to discourage it and to try to get the other agency
involved.
To
right.
do it if you need to is what the law encourages.
Right.
So that's more sort of in line
with the law stuff. So that's the changes I'm looking at.
So are you wanting us to
okay
approve it? This is just for your policy? Is that what?
This is for my policy, but is that correct that they need to still approve that policy?
So let's back up just a minute. Did anyone have any questions about John's report? Do you have any questions about these changes to his policy? So do we have a motion to approve his policy change?
Approve his change.
Motion second. All those in favor say yes. Yes. All those opposed say no. Motion carries.
I will say it's nice to have cars around sometimes.
No, and
When we have issues and we're responding, it's nice to have an extra car out there.
but we have somebody on duty all the time, and I think they ought to be responding to that type of stuff.
Yes.
But I don't want guys coming out, when we had the fire, I don't want to have a West Fork policeman in turnout gear fighting a fire with blue lights in a police car. It's kind of mixing the two, and it's going to cost me a lot of money to fuel.
I understand.
Anything else? Thanks, sir. Isaac?
I don't have a great deal, other than what I got in my minutes. The two big things I'm working on is trying to get a street list together for our meeting with the state in this month. So hopefully we can get some state aid and get some more streets paved here in town. And I've been working on a cost estimate for upsizing some water main down McKnight Street, and I'm still in the works on that. The Dye Creek project, I had to pretty much start over and resubmit that as a improved project because it was wrote up to be put back with tin whistles, and so, and we know that the government moves pretty slow, so I don't know how long that's gonna be held up. But to comment on the tree, the guy from the university contacted me, come down and did a little study on that, and I haven't heard back from him. He was pretty sure it had some sort of disease and it wasn't gonna make it, so he was doing some tests on it to see for a paper he was writing. I need to reach back out to him and see what he come up with. And he even offered to take it out if we wanted to take it out, so. But other than that, I don't have anything else.
You said the Dye Creek Bridge is gonna open there?
The big bridge is gonna be open September 1st. Now, you may not, the county took over the west part of it, so I don't know when they're gonna open. I know they got formed up ready for concrete, and it's been that way for a month.
At least.
So, but the big bridge will be open, you just may not be able to go on past it, so, but the big bridge will be open.
Baby steps.
Yeah.
Mayor, at the County Association conference they just held in Rogers last week, the governor came and said great news on roads would be that maybe counties take all theirs back, cities take all theirs back, and the state take all the funding back. So that'd be a double whammy for us. So we would lose our 75-15 team, and we get more responsibility for roads. I don't know if he's talking about street turn back or not, but that'd be a disaster. So as much street money as you can get now, you might want to do because it might be changing.
Yeah.
And they're coming up, they scheduled a meeting with Isaac and I don't remember what date that is.
29th.
29th.
Yeah.
They called, wanted to come up and look at city streets and see what projects we had.
We got the state aid for 17, we didn't get it for 18, and he told me, he said, apply every year, you're not gonna get it every year, it's probably gonna be more like every other year, so hopefully with them wanting to come up and meet with us, that maybe we'll get something done this year or next, so.
I think the governor would have a heck of a fight in his hands. I would hope all the county judges grumbled when he said something like that. He said, I'm just talking about negotiating. I think everybody thought that negotiation was done.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Nick is, I think Nick's got a couple things. You want to tell him a couple things, Nick? He's gotten us some quotes for our pump station, so we're moving forward on that. I'll let him come up and holler at you, and if y'all don't have anything else for me.
How are y'all?
Good.
Good.
To see you, Nick.
It's good to see y'all. Yeah, we've been working. I think we've finally got some pumps selected for the new lift station. It took a little process trying to figure out what could cover low flows, high flows, what's going to be most economical. And past couple of weeks we've gotten quotes from a couple of suppliers. Of course, we can't do anything with it yet, but just wanted to see where we stood and found a couple that could provide the pumps we were looking for. We're talking about doing 4 pumps in a lift station. 2 of them would be little pumps. You always have to have one running and one backup in case that goes out. You can switch over to that. So we'd have 2 little pumps and 2 big pumps. The little pumps are there for average day, when it's dry or get a little bit of rain, just not too much flow. Those will be running 95% of the time. 15 horsepower pumps, nothing big, not burning a lot of energy. And if you got to replace one, the cost isn't high. And then putting in bigger 100 horsepower pumps for when you get the big flooding rains and you need to get that flow to Fayetteville, those will take over and push it there. But talked to Isaac about it. He seemed to like the approach, and also floated that idea out to Fayetteville, since they'd be, in the agreement, the contract, they'll be maintaining the lift station. They said they have several like that in Fayetteville, that they like that setup too, and the two pumps we've looked at, they like both those pumps as well, and their folks are used to working on those and maintaining them. So the good news is we've got some pricing, we got a plan to move forward. So the next step is we're going to get that facility plan report buttoned up, the final numbers, get in ANRC and get some money funded for it. So that's finally got some forward motion there. So.
That's good.
Any questions?
So, and we are still planning on setting this up to where we can tie in the subdivision north of here, correct?
Yes, Homestead. Yeah, we've got to where they can tie on, and it'd be upstream of the lift station, so they can tie in on the gravity side. And I've had some discussions on how that would happen, metering wise or whatever. But that'd pick up another 50. How many out there right now?
So I
50.
think they've got 20 lots under construction, right?
I noticed that as I've been driving up and down. I've noticed there's a lot under construction. So they were in the 50s last year, like 53, 54, and with all those, I mean, they're going close to build out. So that'd be another 70 plus customers to help spread that amongst. So that'd be great.
Any questions for them? Thank you, sir. All right.
Thank you.
They have a self-contained, it's like a huge septic tank. Self-system? Yes. Yeah. It's not working.
Somebody's not working all the time.
Good talk. Chad. What's our first report? Straight now.
I don't have a lot either besides what's in the packet. Been mowing when it ain't raining. Grass pretty green for August. Told Jerry he's gonna brush hog my field if it don't stop raining soon, because I can't get on him to mow them, and then, that's a good thing. We started the Pee Wee football and cheer program. Those teams and the squads have been practicing for a couple of weeks now, and that's getting going. We have our first game actually started a little earlier this year. We have our first game in a couple of weeks, and flag will start shortly after that. So the teams come together pretty nice. We got a decent turnout. It's about average, like it's been the last couple of years for football. But I think it feels like it's on the upswing a little bit as far as participation goes. We were trying to put together a fall baseball softball league for this fall. Doesn't look like that's going to work out, but we are trying to plan some other activities down there. We've got looking at doing some weekly clinics, possibly, and as well, I know we're going to host at least one softball tournament, it looks like, towards the end of September. So just trying to get some activities down there, plus give some options for some of the kids that still want to do something with baseball and softball in the fall, since the league doesn't look like it's going to work out. So, other than that, mostly just been mowing, clearing things at the park. We've done a lot of tree trimming and things like that, cleaning fences and things lately, and organizing and getting ready for football. So, I don't have a lot.
I like that idea. You need a PA system there.
Yeah, we're looking at that. I think it'd be real helpful during the 4th of July event for sure, and even during baseball and softball season. I can make announcements. I know Farmington put one in this and had it for this season, and it was very, very helpful. Him and Andy. So we're looking into that. Definitely will have to go on next year's budget. So mine's getting tricky. So,
I thought it was pretty good this one.
It's not bad. It's going to look different next month. So, but since Chief Myers isn't here, that's a good place to look for that fire memorial. His budget. So, that's a good spot.
I don't think Travis agrees.
Yeah, probably. Chief's not here, so you better make the budget meeting. Anyway, that's all I've got.
Any questions for Chad?
All right, thank y'all.
Thank you. Travis?
Guarantees it should come out apart.
Yeah, we were friends today. Chief Myers is gone, he's on vacation, which is wonderful. He's been really busy, so really you're just gonna hear about kind of what I do. So I'm in charge of training for the fire department, and we've had a busy time, and we've got some exciting things coming around. We did have a hazmat incident that we helped Boston Mountain on. I don't know if you saw that in the news, some big truck fire that they thought was full of methyl bad stuff. It wasn't, it was Roundup. But we went down there, and the hazmat team from Fayetteville came. They're kind of our regional team. And it was neat, they called for some resources for a specialty product called foam. And we filled truck after truck with it. And it didn't use any of it, but it was neat to pull up and go, hey, we've got 60-gallon, 5-gallon buckets of it. But let's see, that call went really well. Nobody was hurt. There was no hazmat, so that was great. It was a little warm that day. But, in training, we've been using our training tower. We just like a couple doors, but we got to do ladder training where the firemen actually got to ladder a building that we didn't have to worry about breaking, and that was exciting. I'm looking at that. We've got some chaplains. We have 3 chaplains on our department, and all 3 of them are doing some kind of different training to get specialized so they can help us. And that's wonderful. Had some guys go to a conference this last weekend in Dallas, and we got to take our fire explorers with us, which are 13, 14-year-olds. They had a good time. We did some good training. A few of us went to responding to autism emergencies. Made me feel really stupid, but I learned a lot, and I think the other guys did as well. And, that's pretty much all that's going on, other than working to get everything ready for Westfest. Does anyone have any questions or anything I can help with, except for Chad?
Thanks, Travis.
Thanks, Travis.
Kristen?
I don't have a lot of extra. Like he said, the numbers are looking really good. We're still over 200,000 the budget this year for the entire city. So not a lot of complaints on that. We will start budget process at the end of this month. We'll start getting stuff out to the department heads and probably be ready to meet with you guys sometime in late October. Budgets.
I did have one question on this, Chrissy.
Yes.
On the general fund statement of revenue and expenditures, the city sales tax there, it just seems low to me.
It
Why
is,
that?
because we distribute that out to other departments also.
And so it's,
So that's just what the general fund, city general budget gets, but the police gets part of that.
and so when we look over at the annual budgeted amount, that's why I'm looking at it, is because the budget variance is huge. But you're saying that it's just basically not hitting this account, it's being distributed before it gets there.
Right.
Okay.
And a lot of times in the budget process, that's kind of a guess of how much the general fund's gonna get, because all the other departments get theirs first, and the remainder goes in the general
Okay.
fund.
Any questions for Kristen? Okay. So next we have new business. Has everyone had a chance to look over the audit for 2016, the water audit? Christie sent that out in an email. Exhilarating read, right?
Yes, it is.
Always is. It is.
Hard to put it down.
And so, yeah, I'm sure you guys noticed, as with every year, the city gets dinged for our ability to manage cash because of our size. It's hard to find a separation of duties because we don't really have enough people for that. We get hit for that every year. We have made some changes trying to help with that. We've implemented some stuff at the library with John. He's going through some extra steps, cash management, But we will continue to have that issue. The auditor will continue to look at that. He's doing his job by pointing that out. He also requested that we be more specific about our bid process and contracts. Yes, he actually requested we initiate a designated signer. Is that right? We
So
talked about
basically
it.
what his comments were is when he goes back and reads the minutes, he didn't feel like he was getting enough information in the minutes. It didn't say necessarily who all bid on a project, or maybe not a total amount that we approved on a contract, or who we approved to sign that contract. So he's requesting that we just be more specific in the minutes, and that when we approve a contract, we specify who is allowed to sign that contract, and that those things are put in the minutes. It makes it easier for him to, and it really makes it easier for me in the long run, because I'm like, we'll pull all that out and starts asking.
So are there any questions regarding that? Do we have a motion to approve it?
I'll make the motion.
Motion second. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Next item of new business. Isaac, you want to come and address this?
So we budgeted to replace a couple of trucks, one with the, I think that's a street department truck, and one water department truck. And in that process, I sent the guy that we were dealing with from Little Rock some pictures of the 3/4 ton truck that I drive down there, just to see what we could get trade-in on it. He sent back that we can get $25,000 trade-in on it, and he could put us in a smaller truck with better gas mileage for $1,600. So that's what we're looking at doing. And I didn't pull up the fuel, but I'm sure in 2 years we'll save $1,600 in fuel, because mine gets 9.9 miles to the gallon.
This one gets
15 and 21 on the highway, I think. So and I'd be scared to know what that on the highway gets. So yeah, he just happened to have one on the lot, and it's a 4-door, so I can still haul folks around town to look at stuff, and so that's basically all it is.
Questions for Isaac on that? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve it.
Motion second. All those in favor say yes. Those opposed say no.
Thank you.
All right, so, mayor's comments. During the June here, I have a West Fest report, or an update.
We're good. We've got a kids area that's sponsored by
Thanks,
C&E and.
C&E Locksmith, for sponsoring our kids area.
Yeah.
Did CNE know about that prior to this?
He does. We tried, while he's on medication, we tried to get a little more out of him, but
He has not been to work a lot to get a check.
he is aware of it.
When is West Fest? September 8th and 9th. Thank you. You're welcome.
How's the booths going over there?
Have you started reaching out to vendors and stuff, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We have several vendors.
Yes.
Still taking
Do we still
calls.
have the, orange netting?
Fencing?
Yes. You still have?
Get all you want.
Okay, thank you.
We're gonna
We need that for the kids area. We're having a whole different kids area this year. Thanks to Jack. We was gonna do it anyway, but you made it so much easier.
There's one to meet.
And what's the date?
Remember bringing it to
September 8th and 9th.
8th and 9th.
Is there gonna be a parade? Yes.
Yes.
What time?
No, Friday night this year.
9 is what line up.
Yeah.
Pageant's back.
It's been on the Facebook. Yeah.
What kind of pageant?
You had.
This is this will be the do or die. someone come in and wanted to do one, so we said we'd do one more.
Give it a good old fashioned try.
Is there an age limit on that?
Nope. You gonna be in it?
I was thinking Chad.
I think 15 or 16, I think it was like 0 to 16, I think was what the age limit was. And they could pick up at City Hall, thankful,
Okay.
Christie and Amanda. We're dealing with that.
So that's just around the corner. It is. I didn't realize it's getting that close.
Closer than we thought.
Yeah.
I think so.
And you had me set, what day and time you had me set up?
Saturday?
Set up is Friday.
No, him set up.
Oh.
Because he's
Saturday.
doing
Mayor's
Mayor's Choice.
We'll work on that.
You didn't know about that? You're also going over the bluff in the Fairway.
Hope we get some rain between them.
Yeah. What time, he was giving awards at 3, so probably noon
to 3.
Yeah.
There'll be
No
music all
burnout,
afternoon.
no burnout contest this year? Look, John's going, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions on this list? All right. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make it. I'll second.
All those in favor say yes?
Yes.
All opposed, no? Thank you, guys.